Hello and welcome to the France 24 interview. Our guest today is the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Yusuf Raza Gilani. Mr. Gilani, thank you very much for being on the France 24 interview.
Thank you.
I'm going to begin with the news that the Obama administration has decided, after giving much thought about it, not to release pictures of Osama bin Laden. I want to know if you or your government have seen clear evidence that he was indeed killed in that raid.
In fact, our intelligence provided the information much earlier, about a year or 2 years back, about the location. Therefore, it's up to them whether they want to publicize or not to publicize or not to issue photographs. That's up to them.
But have you or your intelligence services been given evidence that indeed Osama bin Laden is dead?
We believe them.
You believe them, you trust them. Okay, so you just said that Pakistan had helped earlier on. There are obviously lots of questions about the role of Pakistan, the role of its military, its intelligence services. American officials, including the head of the CIA, have said, we decided not to tell Pakistan about the raid because we feared they could tip off Osama bin Laden and the others. What do you make of this?
I don't agree with this of your argument, because I personally feel that they know, the Americans know that most of the high-value targets, they have been arrested in Pakistan by Pakistani intelligence and handed over to them. Therefore, the high-value targets were, all those targets were achieved by Pakistan. Therefore, whatever the President Obama has said in his address, and he had really appreciated the role of Pakistan.
But why, if in other cases Pakistani intelligence or military were the ones who made the arrest, why did the Americans decide this should be different this time? We should not tell the Pakistanis.
That you ask them.
But do they trust you or not? Because it seems it's a lack of trust.
We have intelligence sharing with the United States since a long time. And we have very cordial relations of the ISI with the CIA.
But do you think this was a violation of Pakistani sovereignty in this case?
Yes, we have a lot of reservations.
You wish this did not happen?
Certainly there should have been information passed on to Pakistan.
But there is a question about the raid in Abbottabad. There is a military base nearby, 1 kilometer apparently. The raid lasted 40 minutes. How is it possible that Pakistani forces did not get there? I mean, there is, maybe some people think that they were in fact tipped off about what was going to happen.
In fact, it's not 1 kilometer. It's about 4 kilometers from that place. And that's a training academy. It is not some base sort of a thing for the army. But at the same time, I think the Pakistani army and intelligence and also the Air Force, they were vigilant.
They were vigilant. There was no mistake on the Pakistani side.
No.
I want to go back to something you said back in December 2009 at a press conference in London. I quote, "I don't think Osama bin Laden is in Pakistan."
I was clear about it, and because at that time the whole of the world intelligence, they didn't have any information about it.
But what made you think he was not in Pakistan?
Because naturally that was the incident took place much earlier than while I took over as the Prime Minister. And at that time when the 9/11 happened, I was in jail at that time. And when I came back, and after a very long time, I became Prime Minister, and there was nothing of the intelligence from any part of the world conveyed to me, any credible information.
But at that time, now it appears that he was, in fact, already in Pakistan. I mean,
that's a speculation. Because
you think he may have arrived recently?
I don't know, but because whatever the information at that time, nobody shared with us.
There are also lots of questions about the ISI, the Military Intelligence Service. It is formally under civilian control. Is that the case, or is there still a problem with civilian control of the military and the intelligence
Definitely
services?
they are under the civilian control.
But is this happening? I mean, do you feel that you have full control over the ISI because some people say they might be playing both sides and they're not totally under control?
I don't doubt my institutions.
You don't doubt your institution?
I don't doubt my institutions, and at the same time, if the question was asked by any journalist in London that he is in Pakistan, but can you give me the name of any intelligence agencies who has passed on this information to Pakistan before? Or they could have taken the action themselves, as they did now.
As they did now. I want to ask you about the threats of revenge. Some groups have said, the Taliban in Pakistan, that there would be reprisal against the Pakistani institutions. You are an important part of those institutions. How serious are those threats?
The threats are serious, and the world should understand that Pakistan has lost more than 30,000 people and 5,000 people from the law enforcement agencies. Therefore, naturally, there would be a great threat to Pakistan, and we are vigilant about this issue. And therefore, I would request the world, through you, that it is not the end of the game. It is just the end. This is just the beginning of the end. Therefore, we need greater cooperation between both with the United States and Pakistan to combat terrorism and extremism. Therefore, we should not take it lightly.
I mean, have you personally received in recent days threats, or have there been indications that you might be a target?
We all are on the hit list. Therefore, there are thousands of innocent people, the innocent children and the women and even the law enforcement agencies. They have been made target. Therefore, anybody can be a target.
Right.
Not specific on me, but anybody.
I want to ask you about the relationship with your neighbor, Afghanistan. You recently went on a landmark visit there and decided to create a mixed commission with President Karzai. Since the killing of Osama bin Laden, we've seen Afghan officials, including the president himself, saying, see, the problem is not in Afghanistan, and clearly hinting that it's actually in Pakistan. Are you disappointed by those types of comments?
No, I'm not, because we are friends and we know each other's problems. And when I went there last time, I took the army chief and the intelligence chiefs with me, and we had a lot of discussions with President Karzai, and we have formed a mechanism how to combat terrorism. And I also met the President of the Peace Council, Mr. Professor Burhanuddin, and I think we need even greater, now after this incident, we need better understanding with each other.
But this criticism doesn't point to better understanding.
I think that would rather help us in getting together to fight against a common enemy.
Right. In Afghanistan, do you think this...
One thing I want to ask you, is Osama bin Laden Pakistani citizen?
Not that I know, obviously. But I want to... Go ahead.
Therefore, I want to ask this question. He's not a citizen of Pakistan. We are fighting against the militants who are Chechens, who are Arabs, who are from Uzbeks and Taliban and Afghanistan. We are fighting with everybody. Therefore, he's not our citizen. Therefore, one should be careful in pinpointing Pakistan as well.
Right. You think Pakistan is being made, or Pakistanis are being made scapegoats?
Not scapegoat, because he's a foreigner and he was using the Pakistani soil.
Right.
That we would not allow any person to use Pakistani soil against terrorism.
I just want to ask you about Afghanistan. Do you think that this event will maybe convince Western countries that they should withdraw from Afghanistan earlier than they had planned? And is this your hope?
That's their own decision. But at the same time, I think with this incident, we have to have a greater cooperation with all the countries of the world, including Afghanistan.
Right. And here in France, did you feel that there was a French understanding of Pakistan's issues and problems, or is there a lot of defiance saying Pakistan is not telling the truth?
They're totally convinced that this is a time we should not send wrong messages. Rather, we should be united to fight against terrorism, because it's the end of the beginning of this, because this terrorism is not that it has not finished. It has just now we have to be in more coordination to fight against it.
Right. Last question. Did you get a promise from Nicolas Sarkozy that he would come and visit Pakistan?
Yes, he will visit Pakistan.
Do we know when?
It will be mutually agreed with both the foreign officers.
Okay. Prime Minister Gilani, thank you very much for coming on the France 24 interview. Thank you for watching it, and stay tuned for more news.